Welcome in, everybody. We are live here, as always, on a Monday afternoon. I'm Tony. This is Nick. Obviously, Win Daily Sports. Follow us at WinDailySports.com on the website, at Win Daily Sports on all social formats, and obviously hit the subscription button, hit the like button, as always. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It was very eventful. Today's been very eventful. I can tell you that right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if maybe the Reds are getting rid of everybody. The Jaguars are signing everybody. I don't know what the hell's going on. And tonight we got the battle goes to two. I love this. The two MVPs going up. The MVP candidates. One MVP, I get it. One didn't win one yet, but Joe and Jokic battling. I love it. What do you think, man? Like, what do you expect to see from those two tonight? I'm curious.
It's a lot of bully ball down in the paint, and we'll see how many times Bede gets to the stripe, man. I have a feeling he's going to spend his night at the free throw line, but it's going to be a good matchup. And realistically, with around 15 games left on the schedule, it's when it comes down to MVP. If people are casting their ballots, they're going to reflect back on this matchup. So it could be that deciding factor, especially if the Nuggets pull this one off. So.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think the line's been shifting all day in the 76ers' favor, which is odd. So, somebody knows something. So we'll see what happens. They've been in a lull right now. So last couple games took them overtime to beat Orlando, which is unbelievable. So I'm not sure what's going on. No idea. But again, we'll see what happens tonight. 9 games tonight. Honestly, I'll tell you what, goes. Here's what excites me tonight is I love that there's 4 games at 10 o'clock. I know it's past your bedtime, but for me, I'm just getting started at 10 o'clock. So that's going to give me an opportunity to go and put some parlays and put some bets on for these last 4 games. But anyone thing out of those late games that you're kind of watching, or you're looking at Giannis, Toronto and the Lakers. Man, the Lakers are just getting destroyed. I mean, they're just terrible right now, aren't they?
This is just it's honestly, man, like it sounds petty, but it's bittersweet too, because Lakers fans are the first ones to be all up in everybody's faces on social and this and that, and like kind of come back down to earth after winning their championship in the bubble too. So you know what, it's what it is. You can say it's because they don't have Anthony Davis. You can say it's because Russell Westbrook doesn't know how to shoot anymore. And realistically, that roster was never made to win a championship. It never was. And they signed Kendrick Nunn on a ridiculously cheap deal. Hasn't seen the floor the entire season, battling with injuries. It took them who knows how many games to finally give Malik Monk this decent run. By then, you already have dug yourself way too deep of a hole. LeBron is in his 19th season, and there's only so much he can do. You know what I mean? Like he's leading the league in points per game right now, and it's just what it is. He's doing LeBron things, and it's witnessing greatness. You got to appreciate it. Whether someone's a LeBron person or not, you definitely have to admit that it's been absolutely ridiculous what he's done not only this season but throughout his career. But the rest of this roster just doesn't pan out, man. Like at all. It doesn't work, and it's not going to work tonight. Not against my Raps, that's for sure. Raptors are way too fast. They're way too fast for the Lakers. They're not going to be able to keep up. So
the Suns destroyed them last night.
No CP3 either, man. And they like, how do you look at yourself in the mirror and say we just gave up 48 points in a quarter?
That was brutal.
Like forget about like that, and that's what I keep telling people too. Like, okay, Russ is shooting 9%. Yet I said that correctly, 9% from deep since the All-Star break, and I get that. I get what everything like. Russ is a good basketball player, and he's going to be very good somewhere else next season. And they're going to say, "Oh, where was this last season?" It never was a good fit. But allowing 48 points in a quarter is not just on Russ. You allowed a team without Chris Paul to score almost a 50-piece on you in 12 minutes. Crazy. That's just what it is, man. That's the shape of your roster. That's the shape of your roster right now. You were like, realistically, that was never sustainable because Booker played the whole first quarter too. He played 12 minutes straight, and it's not like he's gonna play all 48 minutes. But the math should, like, bro, you were on pace to allow 200 points in a game after 12 minutes. That's a
I couldn't believe it.
disaster. That's a disaster. So I'm hoping they get this roster fixed. They have no picks left whatsoever. And when LeBron leaves, not if, when LeBron leaves, that team is going to be cooked.
Yeah,
and they're gonna have to hope that people band together in free agency to want to go play there, because it's a disaster right now.
Last thing I'm going to say to the LeBron fans, because I am not a LeBron guy. If everybody doesn't realize, you don't see a LeBron jersey hanging in the back of my studio there. So, but what I will say is, I just want everybody to be fully transparent with themselves. Okay, so all the people that told me that LeBron won by himself in Cleveland cannot be the same people now that say LeBron doesn't have any help. I don't want to hear it. Okay, so if he was doing it all for himself in Cleveland, he should be doing it all right now. That's all I'm saying. This was his roster. This is what he wanted. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. Okay, case closed. But let's get into the night. So we got a lot of interesting games. We're gonna get right into this. Get right in core. If you haven't, make sure you go to windailysports.com and you read the article. You still got about an hour left. You see Nick break down all the good plays tonight, all the good games. We'll talk a little something different as always. Talk a little cores. Talk some bets. I see somebody talking about. Obviously, everybody's going to be different here, but I'm going to go right with me right off the bat, and I'm feeling a Trae Young kind of night. Hopefully that. I don't get jinxed here with Ghost. He doesn't come out with a sling and all of a sudden does it. Like, I don't know what's going on, but he looks good, man. I'm last time that he played Portland, he went off. Now, I understand a different team that he's going to play against Portland. They stink even more than they did then. Okay, but he dropped 85 DK. The guy was on absolute fire against Portland. He was on fire from three as well. So keep that in mind when we talk about props for profit going 7 for 12. So 65% from the field, 60%, 100%, from three, 100% from the line. Again, for me at 10-3, I didn't want to pay up tonight. Even though I know Giannis is going to have a hell of a game. But I decided to do a little something different. So I went with Trae tonight. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong, just the way I was feeling. So love Trae tonight. Now, here's the interesting thing. I love Darius Garland. I'm attacking the Clippers. I think that's going to be a fast-paced game. And Darius Garland is, I'll tell you what, every now and then, I always say this, we can go through analytics all we want. We can go through stats all we want. But when you pass the eye test for me for Jigsaw, I look at it and I say, okay, this kid's got game. And when I watched him come into Philly and the way he played, that was the first time I've seen him play live. So I've seen him on TV, but I seen him live. And when I seen him live, I was like, wow, this kid's got swag. This kid's got confidence. I mean, we talk about Ja Morant. This kid is the truth. This kid's legit. I love everything he can do. And again, for me, for 9,000 at home against the Clips, I know the Clips got a lot of people healthy. It doesn't matter. I still think it's going to be a fast-paced game. So for me, I'm going double guards tonight right off the bat. And then here's the interesting one for all you Philly fans out there. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm buying into Tobias Harris tonight. And here's why. So we know, I don't want to even talk about it, but there's been some interesting slow starts going on for the Philadelphia 76ers. There's some interesting things going on with James Harden, and the offense seems to be stalling, and the stage may be too big for him. But last night was the first time, finally, that Tobias did what we needed him to do. He stepped up. And that's what we've been talking about. 26 points last night. If you look at the last 4 games, 4 out of the last 5, he's been in double digit, 15 plus, but he really found his stroke last night. And 10 for 18, he shot 56% from the floor, 3 of 5 from 3. That's the Tobias. I don't want the Tobias Harris getting to the line. I need Tobias Harris to find his spot in the court. And he's not an isolation player. Tobias Harris needs to be able to hit the open shot. So he's still getting that. He's hitting that. I think he's going to get a lot of that tonight. So I think he's going to continue on his hot streak. So, and for me, his price didn't change. So I look at that, he's 6,900 and he scored 44 DK. He scored 26 points and he's 6,900 again. So I really like that. I think it's a value play for me. He's going to be my core. And then I'm going to go with Baisley. And the reason why I'm going to go with Baisley again is because Ghost has taught me to always attack the Charlotte Hornets, right? There's nobody in Charlotte that's going to be able to stop anybody. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I like both of these teams that come out of the gate firing. And basically, he's coming off a 50-point effort against Minnesota, right? So he's already got the confidence. He's already got the minutes. And against Charlotte, for me, for 5,300, that's the four guys that I'm building around. Now, Ghost, I know you're going to be different, which I love. You like the Clippers too tonight, huh?
I do. This morning it was funny because when I first launched my projections, it had Amir Coffey, it had Brandon Boston, it had Luke Kennard, and it had already removed Reggie Jackson, Robert Covington, and Marcus Morris. People in Discord were asking, why is Brandon Boston high up there? I was like, I don't have Reggie, Morris, or Covington playing tonight. That's just what it is. Scale forward the clock a few hours and all these guys get ruled out. So if you guys are going anywhere else for your projections, highly recommend joining, and you'll be able to get early edges. And I grabbed the Cavs at -4.5, and that line is up to -8 now. That's just what it is. So there's a lot of advantages to be had before noon Eastern. I think that's like 3 a.m. where Brian is, but you'll be able to get a ton of advantages early on. So I am going 2 Clippers tonight. That was always the plan, and now even more so, you need to. I'm going with Giannis against Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz, and you'll see that in props for profit as well, that I'm double dipping the chip there a little bit. I think he leads the slate in scoring. All eyes will be on the MVP matchup, and rightfully so. Joker versus Bede. James Harden's no slouch either there, so it's good. It's going to be big, and if anyone's paying up, they're likely going with Trae Young now that Danilo Gallinari and John Collins are both out for the Atlanta Hawks, or they're going all the way to the top of the grid and going to the center position. So I'm going with Giannis. A lot of people are scared of Rudy Gobert's defense. I watched a lot of Utah basketball. It's probably the most overrated thing I've ever heard. That's extremely hyped in the media. This guy gets cooked every single possession. It's wild. And he won't be able to stop Giannis tonight. So at 12.2, I like going all the way up to Giannis. And I need a piece, if not multiple pieces, of the San Antonio, Minnesota game. I wrote that game up as my top game. It still grades out as the number one game in my model right now. If I said that the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves were second and fourth in the league in pace, someone would look at me like I was crazy, but they are. And these teams play fast, and they've got everybody back. San Antonio rested nearly their entire starting lineup last game, because that's just what Pop does recently, apparently. He just sits guys out for no apparent reason. Even though they're only a couple games back of a play-in spot in the playoffs, they just sat everybody out. So why not? So now everyone's healthy. Everyone's good to go. They're coming off a long rest. DeJounte Murray against this Minnesota backcourt is going to absolutely feast, especially if Patrick Beverley is not active, which he was out on Saturday. So keep tabs on Pat Bev. But even if he's in, DeJounte Murray is going to be my guard of choice. If you're not comfortable with DeJounte Murray and you rather go with the one of the other games I wrote up, which was Charlotte OKC, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, you already said. I love attacking Charlotte games. So if you want to go to SGA, $400 cheaper than DeJounte Murray, I'm cool with that. And I do have Darius Paisley in my lineup tonight too. So
I feel good
cool.
now. I like that.
I'm cool getting some pretty big exposure to OKC Charlotte as well.
I like that, man. I'm feeling good, B. I'm with you, man. When you get the same picks as Ghost here and there, you start to feel a little confident. So Ghost, yeah, you're going 00 here on the FFVP. I don't know if that's politically correct if I say 00, but we've taught the double D's on this show too. So 00, what the hell, right? So hit it up, man.
Yeah, it's just, look, there's absolutely no need to run Capella into the ground. And you guys will see that in the last stretch of the season, that Clint Capella, while he can be a center that can log, I don't want to say 36 minutes, he won't be that guy, but he can get into the mid-30s, right? And you'll see that down the stretch, especially with matchups in the East for Atlanta, they're going to have to end up making Capella more of a matchup-based player. And that's where it's just where Okonkwo is going to absolutely thrive. I call him a small ball center. He's not exactly the smallest dude. He's pretty imposing out there, but he can keep up with Trey. And that's the difference between Clint Capella, is that he can't. And that's when John Collins ends up sliding to the 5, and he runs the pick and roll usually with Trae Young. He's not going to be out there tonight. He's out. So is Danilo Gallinari. It's a lot of minutes for the likes of DeAndre Hunter. It's a lot of minutes for Bogdan. It's a lot of minutes for Kevin Huerter, etc. But don't overlook Okonkwo as well, because with the Clippers likely taking Zubac off the floor to get Capella off the floor, because that's just the way Ty Lue's going to be able to coach tonight. He's going to want to play positionless basketball, and he can't do that if Zub is out there, because Zub can only hang out under the rim, and that's it. So if he's looking to play positionless basketball, he's got to take him off. Capella's going to come off, and you're going to see a lot of guys running up and down this court tonight. I love Okonkwo at 3,400.
I love. Listen, we love the FFVPs. We love the value plays. So you hear it. I mean, not everybody can give you the analysis on a value play, right? That's when you know people know what the hell they're talking about. So that's a big thing. And these value plays can be really, really profitable if in the right spot. I'm going to go with my man Theo tonight because, again, I'm attacking the same game. There's no Giddey. There's no Ty Jerome. He's been in 20-plus point production the last couple games. And listen, again, for 3,500 for a game that I think is going to score some points because, again, these offenses can, especially Charlotte, they can score, but they also can't stop anybody. So I think this is going to be a decent game. And I predicted a 25-plus point night for my man Theo Maledon. So I do like the position he's in. I think he'll get some good play. And again, for 3,500, man, I again, just attacking that Charlotte game, attacking that Charlotte defense, I really like the way that's looking out. You'll see that later in Pros for Profit. So let's get right into Pros for Profit. Again, make sure hashtag Pros for Profit. We're getting to some bets for tonight. Again, we're going to have more as time goes on, but for right now, we give you a few, and then maybe you get some in Discord. You'll see some on our site as well, and you'll see them on Twitter too. But I'm going to go, listen, the same way I talked about him in the core. I like Tobias Harris over 1.5 3-pointers made plus 140. And again, this is again looking at the way Tobias has been starting to heat up. He is in over the past 2 games is when he's finally starting to see a stride. He's shooting 70% from 3, 7 for 10. So I'm just looking at that and I'm saying, okay, tonight I really like that. And here's a DK special. I love the DK specials. I'm going to Charlotte game. LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier both 4+ 3-pointers made for plus 475. Again, that game to attack, I like it. I think there's going to be a lot of shots put out. And these two guys have been over 4 together 50% of the game so far this year. So that's something to look at. Again, they can get hot. Rozier's a streaky shooter. He literally can go 6 for 12 or 1 for 20. I mean, the dude is just like an animal. So tonight, I'm thinking he's going to be pretty good. So Ghost, it looks like you got Trey in the props as well. I like it.
I do. And obviously he grades out ridiculously well going up against Portland at this point. Almost anybody's going to grade out well against Portland, but when it's Trae Young going up against G League style backcourts, good luck.
Come on.
No John Collins. It's just he actually is going to be distributing the ball a ton in this game too. He's going to be shooting the ball a ton in this game. And the main reason why I'm not really afraid in terms of blowout with props, you guys will see that all over social media. And don't bet props that the games are going to blow on this, that. You'll never know. First of all, if the game is going to blow out, you never know. And if you're using the Vegas line to indicate that, obviously it's the best indicator that you can. What it won't tell you is that when the Hawks were up by 22 last week, Trae Young checked back into the game with 8 minutes left and played the rest of the game up by 22. So teams have to gear up for playoffs here, and you can't just sit guys because you're blowing someone out, or that there's a time to rest and there's a time to ramp things up. The Atlanta Hawks need to ramp things up here. And with no Gallinari, with no Collins, Trey's going to be dishing the rock. He's going to be shooting it. He's going to have a great game against Portland. I like over 9.5 assists for plus 110. Every single time I take Trey dimes at 10 plus for plus money, it's always something that'll interest me.
I love it. It's plus money, man. It's plus money. And again, like you just said, Hawks need every single. I
They
was checking
do,
it.
man. They
They do.
absolutely do. They need it so bad. They need to get things going here.
Yo, my man Doug checking it says nice shirt. See, Doug Sharp. Yo, Sharp. You're branded, bro. Like you're branded. How can you miss that, man? That's funny. Obviously, that is our show is presented by the Sharp app. So make sure your one-stop shop spot for betting. Make sure you download this Sharp app today. And then you're going money line. You're right. You're going money line, which you mentioned a little earlier. You're going a Bucks money plus 110. I like that number.
I am. So I was going to put a Giannis prop for plus money. Realistically, it's going to be a team effort tonight against Utah Jazz, one of the deepest teams in the league. And Milwaukee's been grading out well for me all day, and the line has been moving big time. This screams fishy line, man. The line's moving the other way, and that it shouldn't be moving that way. Public's absolutely hammering Utah. Rudy Gobert is going to get absolutely cooked tonight, and I can't wait to see it. Giannis is going to put on a show. Milwaukee grades out way too well. They're on a thin rotation too, which just means more Giannis, more Jrue Holiday, more Chris Middleton, and the best thing possible that 5 months after having back surgery, Brook Lopez is back tonight. Obviously, he's only going to play 10 minutes, but just seeing him out there on a court again is absolutely huge after the extremely bad injury. That they're going to rally behind him and they're going to get the dub tonight on the road. So I like Milwaukee. Instead of posting a Giannis prop, I'm going to post a team prop here. Kind of, we'll call it that. It's going to be a team effort tonight from the Bucks. Bucks on the money line. I don't care if the line's moving towards Utah. I got Milwaukee in this one.
I like it. And again, about 9 games tonight, a lot of different opportunities. 4 late games. I know I'm going to be up watching them. Ghost will be sound asleep, and I'll be throwing parlays out there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But as always, everybody, we're getting out of here. Make sure you hit us up, Props for Profit. Throw them out there, your FFVPs. Throw them out there. Make sure you're following us at Win Daily Sports. You're subscribed. Hit the like button. As always, everybody, for Tony, for Nick, everybody be profitable tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you right back here tomorrow